this morning's AM Power Call. These are, I know I say it like for every call, but they're like my favorite calls because it just makes you feel good to start the day with value or strengthening your skill set or diving into the community. And overall, just working on yourself and working on your business. So it's kind of like going to the gym in the morning, right? It's like you go to the gym in the morning and you feel primed and ready and motivated to conquer the day. Even if you were like dog tired, got 2 hours of sleep before you went to the gym, it's like you go to the gym and you're like, you know what? The hardest battle about going to the gym is not the actual workout, it's getting through the doors, right? And that's how it is whenever we come to these AM power calls. It's like, the the thing that's always the hardest is just hopping on. And then once you're here, it's like you feel fired up, you feel motivated, you feel great. If you are not catching this live, you can always catch it on our team podcast. And the hardest part of anything is just pressing play. So here's what I would just give you guys the reminder to do is if you are on this call right now and you have not set a consistent alarm Monday through Friday, same time, same place to get on this call, I would highly recommend that you guys do that. I have it both in my calendar with a little notification, but I also have an alarm at 9 o'clock and another one at 9:50, just to make sure that I don't miss it, even when I'm not hosting. And then if I have to, I will catch the replay. And so on my mirror, I have a little sticky note that says press play, just as a reminder, like, hey, if you're ever just like getting ready in the morning, or sometimes I'll move the sticky note into my computer and I'll put it right here on the corner of my keyboard. And it's just a reminder, like, hey, if you're sitting around doing your makeup, doing your hair, fellas, I know it takes you like no time at all. So maybe you put it on your radio. It's like turn whatever, you know, routine you have in your life into, an opportunity for you to grow. And so excited to be here with you guys all. Very excited that we're in the month of September. Can you guys freaking believe it? I want to go ahead and highlight a couple of things. If you are in the Dallas area, there is a Dallas event this Saturday. So we're only two days away from that, you guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got several of our leaders that are going to be heading up that event. So you guys make sure, you get registered for that, get there. Don't forget about it. It's going to be amazing. But there is also our Vital Fest coming up in Anaheim, November 1st and 2nd. So guys, the room block is available. The tickets are available, but it is going to sell out. So I know that you're probably sitting around, procrastinating. Here's what I'll tell you is just go ahead and make the decision to be there. You may not have all the logistics, but here's what happens. People will be like, well, I got to see if I can take off work, or I got to see if I can find childcare. Well, what happens is if you see if you can take off work, or see if you can find childcare, or see if you can move some things around, you might ask one person to watch your kids. You might talk to your boss one time about getting off work. And so really, it's like, did you really put in the fair effort, right? Whereas if you have the tickets booked, you've got the room booked, you've got the hotel booked, you're like, hey boss, I really need off that weekend. They're like, okay, yeah, let me see what I can do. I'll look at the schedule to see if we can get you the time off, right? And if you didn't already have the tickets booked, you've probably only asked that one time, and you're going to just like put it at the back of your mind, and you're going to rely on your boss to tell you whether or not he's going to be able to give you the time off. And the reality is, your time off is not your boss's priority. That's the truth. And so if you have the tickets booked, you're like, hey, did you get a chance to look to see if you can clear that, or so-and-so can cover it? And then the next, if they don't have it wrapped up by tomorrow, if you ask today, you're asking Monday, hey, did you get a chance to look over the weekend? And if he didn't ask, you're like, hey, I just wanted to remind you, I know you're so busy, but next week, next Friday, you're asking again, you're like working a little bit extra, to show that you're a good employee. And maybe you're like, hey, yeah, sure, so-and-so wants to take off this weekend. I'll pick up that shift because I know that I have time coming up that I'm going to want off, and I need to be a team player in the workplace. So the reality is guys, you don't put in enough, like really, you don't put in the effort to make something happen until you've made the commitment, is the bottom line, right? Same goes with childcare. You like ask ask your mother-in-law or your mother, hey, can you watch the kids just, from Friday to Sunday that or Friday to Monday that weekend? They're like, well, we'll see. Yeah, let me talk to your dad or let me talk to, you know, Papa or whoever. And they're like, and even, it's like if you ask that one time, you're like, well, I gotta wait and see. Well, I don't want to bug them. But if you're like, hey, I really need off, like I need help. And they're either like moving things around to help you, or you're like, oh, family's out. Let me ask the neighbor. Let me ask my sister. Let me ask their uncle. Let me figure out something. Maybe they can spend the, Halloween weekend with a friend. Like you're figuring it out. Okay. Here's what I want you to know. Get the tickets. You won't regret it, I promise. And it's going to be an absolutely amazing experience. And the truth is you make the commitment and you figure the rest out later. That is the number one skill set to being an entrepreneur is developing the skill set of everything is figure out or develop, I should say the mindset, but really it is a skill set too. The mindset of everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. You need to write that in the chat so that it's cemented in your brain because we are not taught in normal mass population society that to be empowered. That's just the truth, right? If most of you were raised on the traditional education system, and I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying that, there's a lot of valuable parts of it. But the truth is that we're taught systems, we're taught a certain way to learn math. We're taught, I mean, even look at the new math nowadays. Kids are learning they're learning how to do math in a completely new way because that's the new system. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. It drives you crazy, right? But it's like you're taught from such a young age the systems on how things are done in a certain way. And you're taught to always rely on gaining permission from somebody else, right? You're asking your teacher, you're asking your parents. Then when you get into college, you're asking your professor, you're asking your boss. Then you decide to journey into the world of entrepreneurship and network marketing and you're like, "Oh, wow, I have the free agency to decide what I want to do." But not only do you have that free agency to decide what you want to do, you have the capability to figure out anything. And the second that you start approaching life with that mindset of everything is figure outable, I will tell you first and foremost, you will not be beating your head on a brick wall anymore. You might have moments of frustration where you're like, oh, I have a challenge. But you're not going to wish it was easier. You're going to wish you were better, like Jim Rohn says, right? You're going to be like, what skill set do I need to navigate and, strengthen in order to find a solution to this problem? Whereas the rest of society, 99% of people will go, well, I just couldn't figure it out. Yeah, who do I have to become? Miss Brooke Nieves said that. Who do I have to become? It's not about making the money. It's who you have to become to make the money. That's it. You don't have to be born with this special skill set or this special talent or to be born completely different. Nobody is better than you. I'm sorry if people have made you feel that way in your life, but that's just a freaking lie. Your potential is completely unknown and untapped. So, having said that, everything is figure outable and our events include that. And today we're going to talk about how you can create duplication without burnout. And we're going to run through it pretty quick. I have created a very short and concise training for you guys, really to make sure. Here, let me go ahead and I'm going to split my screen because I've got my notes pulled up here. Oh, and now you guys just disappeared. There you go. Okay. So that's right. You are not the limitations. Others, like, here's the truth too, is like, if you make excuses, you get to keep them, right? Like, if you make the excuse that you can't find childcare, you can't take off work, you know, can't find the money to get there, like can't find the time, can't find the energy, then that's what you will always have, right? Growth is something that has to be intentional. And one of the ways to develop that is really the internal transformation of making a decision to get to the event. So we're going to be talking about duplication today, and how to keep it very simple, you guys, because here's the reality, right? Is when you have, this is like my segue into this, is like when you are developing a team of people or even developing yourself in this profession, and I say it's a profession because if you treat it like a side business, it's going to pay you like a side business. But if you treat it like a profession, it will pay you like one, right? Even if you're only able to commit side business hours, if that makes sense, right? This is still a business. So if you treat it like that, it will pay you like that. But here's what I want you to understand is that I don't believe anybody truly quits network marketing because it's not what they want, right? It's not that they don't believe network marketing works. Like if they made the decision to get enrolled in the business, they obviously believe it works. You obviously have the belief that it works. It's really a matter of, do you believe it could work for you? Or do your people believe that it can work for them? Right? So creating duplication is really all about making sure people feel empowered and educated to keep pushing their decision forward to pursue this, right? So I don't feel like people quit network marketing because they don't believe in it. I think it's that they begin to believe either that they're overwhelmed and they start subscribing to the feeling of overwhelm. Did you notice my language there? I said they subscribe to the feeling of overwhelm because overwhelm is not actually it's not actually an environment. It's a perception of your environment. That's what overwhelm is. And you have to opt into it and choose to believe that you're overwhelmed, right? Have you ever had like a really full schedule, but like you're really excited about it? Like you just decided you're going to start taking college classes. Your kids just started to play a new sport. They're rocking it on the team. Maybe you just started a new job. Maybe you just started dating somebody new, right? It's like all of a sudden your schedule is packed, but you're loving it. And have you ever gone through a season where your schedule is packed, but you're like, where you experience that feeling of overwhelm? It's really a matter of perspective. And when we approach that experience of overwhelm with I get to, I don't have to, and gratitude, it goes a long way. So I believe people quit because they feel overwhelmed or they feel underqualified. And our systems are what allows people to feel like they have achieved, we're basically, they feel empowered and they feel like they're growing here. Because people don't quit if they're, I think, there is a period of time that everybody goes through. There's very few cases in any business where somebody's like, boom, rockets out the gate. I'll tell you, my husband, when he got started in network marketing 10 years ago, it was like, boom, he rocketed out the gate. I didn't have any results for like almost 2 months. Okay. He was like, earned a car in his first 2 weeks. 2 months in, I'm like, I barely got my first person. Do you know what I'm saying? And I had already contacted hundreds of people at that point. So, I had to go through the numbers. I just collapsed the time frame by contacting hundreds of people within 2 months versus several months, if that makes sense. And so it's if people will continue to work, if they feel like they're in an environment that is conducive to their internal growth, meaning that they will continue to stay in an environment if they feel like they're growing, right?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, somebody's unmuted. There we go. But yeah, girl, exactly. She's like, I mean, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's why people stay in jobs that don't, like that aren't like not something that it's like they are getting something out of it. If they feel recognized and they feel like they're growing, they're going to stay in it. So you have to show people like, hey, there is potential for you to grow here, and there's potential for your future with the skill sets you're developing. So our job is to make winning simple, duplicatable, and doable for people. Simple, duplicatable, and doable for people. And those are the three things that your job is as a leader, right? You need to make things simple, duplicatable, doable, and you want to look for people that are coachable, willing, and hungry. So when you as an individual are like, what do I need as an individual that's going to create success in this business? I need to be coachable, willing, and hungry. And then when you're coaching a team, what kind of leader do I need to be for my team? I need to create things that are simple, duplicatable, and doable. Now, you don't even have to create it because we've already done it for you. You just have to rinse, wash, and repeat and teach your people how to use the systems that we have in place. But it's all going to start with a vision. And you have to understand that vision is something, if you don't feel like you're somebody, like I remember when we got started in this business, and poor David. I mean, I just always like think about the beginning of our journey in this business 10 years ago because David was our OG mentor. You know, I compared myself a lot to Miles. I had a lot of success outside of network marketing, and I basically fell flat on my face in order to succeed in network marketing. But I'm so grateful because Miles was able to show me that I could do it, and I did it. It just took me falling on my face, and the price I had to pay was, my ego. That's what it was. The price I had to pay was getting rid of my ego. But here's what I'll tell you. When we got started in this business, and David actually coached me a lot around that, to be honest. And then I did, of course, lots of work myself over the last 10 years. But, I used to think Miles is a visionary. I'm not. I thought it was like something you were born with or you weren't. Like some people had a vision and some people were not. Like some people could like help make the vision come true, but they weren't the ones that had it. Like they didn't come up with it. And I want you to know that actually building a vision is something that can be developed. And some of you just need to hear that simple thing right now. Like you can create a vision out of nothing. You just have to spend time developing it, right? Spend time working on yourself, doing personal development, spending 5 minutes a day, 5 years in your future, giving yourself permission to dream and expand and develop more skill sets so that you can dream and expand further. But duplication is really going to be the difference between having a paycheck and having a legacy, right? You can have a paycheck if you work this business, but you can have a legacy if you build a team. And you can create that vision for your team of, that rally cry, or we can do this, or you going out and accomplishing the big thing. So the bottom line is, guys, like duplication is about the difference between a paycheck and a legacy because you cannot carry your entire team on your back. You have to utilize the systems and the simplicity that we already have in place so that other people can see themselves succeeding. Did you notice that? I didn't say you have to carry them on your back. I said you cannot carry them on your back. You have to teach them how to utilize the systems that we have in place. And a big part of that is just consistently inviting your team to these calls, our AM Power calls. Okay. Inviting them to the overviews, checking in with them. Hey, just wanted to make sure you're going to be on this Saturday's Vital Academy at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Will you be live? Make sure you bring notes. Let's connect after so that we can share takeaways together. Like grow your people and they will naturally grow your business. Right? If you're inviting them to the things that we already have in place, their vision is going to grow. They're going to see other testimonials of people, other stories of people succeeding in the business or with the products that's going to resonate with them. And they're going to be developing their language. They're going to be developing their posture. They're going to be developing their skill sets along the way and learning more about the business so that they don't feel like they're just like bebopping around and have no clue what they're talking about, right? If they're on every overview, they're going to eventually learn what the 4 systems are. They're going to eventually learn a little bit more about the basics of the compensation plan. They're going to learn how to present. Do you see what I'm saying? right? If they're on these calls every morning, they're going to develop a mindset. They're going to start to recognize skills that they can, get better at. So, the number one principle is just keeping it simple, right? Because if it's not simple, it's not duplicatable, right? You know, it doesn't matter what works if it doesn't duplicate, right? Everything that's duplicatable works, but not everything that works is duplicatable. So even though you might have some special strategy or influence, you have to understand that not everybody on your team might be able to leverage that. So what can you leverage? What we already have in place, which is utilizing the boards, getting in the Facebook groups, adding their prospects to our testimonial group, hopping on the AM power calls, going to Vital Fest in November, hopping on the overviews, attending the AM power calls, becoming an active member in, their private team chats or support chats. So here's the biggest thing that I want you to know as leaders in this business, because I believe even if you are a lone army of one currently, it's so great to take notes on these calls, because you will always have the opportunity to reflect back on that and be like, oh, it didn't apply then, but it does now. Right? And so here's what I want to tell you. The principle number one, keep it simple. Do not fire hose your new people. Just show them how the system works. Don't try to tell them how to do everything in the business. Guide them through the boards. Show them the Facebook groups. That's why our launch calls or our quick start trainings, it's really just a matter of it's an onboarding call. Like, here's the groups that you want to be a part of. Here's the chats you need to pay attention to. Here's the boards that you want to make sure you have access to, because it's your both your library and and your tools. Like, it's everything for you to use, right? So instead of trying to show them how to invite, how to do this, how to do that, show them where everything is, and then teach them one or two things within 24 hours. Your goal with a new person within your first 24 hours is to simply just help them to take action in some form, right? Have them make an engagement post so that they can start building a list in their first 24 hours. That next 48 hours, right? That next 24 hours, within their first 48 hours. First 24 hours, they made some type of a social media post there. They've now started to build their list. Next 24 hours, they've started to invite people on that list. That's it. Those two actions right there. Money makers. Boom. Done. Simple. Makes your life easy. Makes them feel empowered. They're like, that wasn't that hard. Dang, is this really I gotta do? I gotta make a couple posts, message a few people, call a couple people. That's it. That's it. And then you just show them how to use the tools, right? Show them how to invite somebody to a live overview. Show them how to invite somebody via a video. Hey, if I sent you a video, would you have time to watch it? Great. When? That's it. That's it. Give them 1 to 2 actions to take within their first 24 hours. And if you're like, I don't know what to do today, I'm not where I want to be, guys, I just literally gave you the recipe for success. Look in our boards, get a few ideas for social media. Even if you don't have a big following, if you get 1 or 2 followers, guys, if you did 10 posts a month and you got 1.5 responses on your post, let's see, 10 times 1.5, because I am not a math whiz, you'd have 15 new prospects, interested, engaged prospects per month. If you had like 100, a couple hundred followers, and you made 10 posts a month that helped engage people to build your list out. Okay. So it's really about keeping it simple, and that's it, guys. So principle number 2 is tools over talent, which we've already been talking about. It's like, your words don't have to be perfect. Your tools just have to be powerful. We already have built everything out for you, guys. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. In fact, that's only going to slow you down. So utilize what we already have in boards and get familiar with it. Don't spend all day like in analysis paralysis trying to memorize boards. Know where a couple of the video calls are that you can share as webinars, right? Like, know how to send people to our overviews or our natural remedies call. But you're the coach here. You know what a coach does? They say point and play. They're just pointing and telling the players how to play, right? You're like, send a link, invite to a call, share a sample, do a scan, connect in a three-way chat. That's all you're doing as a coach. You're just teaching people point and play. That's it. So I know for me, it was like when duplication really started to like make sense was like when I realized that like I could teach a group of people when, when this was like early in the days, like when everything was online. It was like I was like, I don't know how we're gonna, yeah, you are a coach. That's right. It's like, I don't know how I'm gonna teach everybody. It was like, everybody come to our clubhouse at our apartment complex. And everybody came and I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a list of 10 people. Everybody made a list of 10 people. Like, okay, now everybody say, hey, what's up? Like connect with all 10 people on their list. They're like, okay, now what? And I'm like, okay, now the ones that respond, tell them that you're launching a project and that you'd like them to take a look because you think it would be really beneficial for them. And they're like, okay, now what? And I'm like, if they say yes, invite them to our presentation tonight. They're like, okay, that's it. I didn't have to sit there and teach all these people how to present. If you're teaching people how to utilize the tools, the skills will follow later. The number one skill is learning how to invite and share information. That's it. Number 3 is just plug into the systems, right? Duplication thrives when there's rhythm. So, that comes from our calls, our chats, our events, right? Creating that rhythm with people is like everybody's marching to the same drum. You're like, you know, every day we're on AM Power Call. Every day we got an overview, every Saturday we have Vital Academy. Once a month we have like a huge event where we do recognition and even more in-depth training. Once a quarter currently we have some type of an event like Vital Fest coming up, and you just start to run people through the rhythm of it, because when people know where to show up, they don't have to figure it all out. If people are like, if you're messaging people in your business and they're like, I don't know what to do, you're like, the number one question you should ask them is not what are you doing, but are you showing up to the calls? Let me say that again. If you're messaging people in your business and they're like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what I'm doing wrong, it's not like the question to ask them is not, well, tell me what you're doing. It's, are you showing up to the calls? Yes, you can do some deeper investigative work to find out what they're doing, but if they're not showing up to the calls, then they're not developing themselves. They're not developing the skill set. Lastly, guys, is you want to model the pace, not the perfection, right? People will not do what you say. They're going to do what you do. So if you're not on these calls or you're not utilizing the system or you're trying to do your own thing, that's great if it works for you. But like you also have to be doing the things that work for everybody so that you can be able to teach that, right? The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. You're the point man. If you're not showing the way, people will not go the way, right? And the truth is that you don't have to be this perfect leader. You just need to be consistent with showing them where the tools are, what groups to be on, what calls to show up on, and just focus on, a couple of actions every day. Post on your social media, invite a couple of people, do your personal growth, follow up with your current prospects, and just motivate the team by keeping them accountable. You don't have to motivate people because people won't be motivated if you're just like pushing them all the time. You actually want to empower them, not motivate them. And the way that you're going to empower them is by providing accountability for the actions they need to be taking in the business and accountability for where they need to show up, which is these calls. And so I hope that helps you guys today. And so here's what you got to do. You got to keep it simple. You got to use your tools. You got to plug your people into the systems, and you got to model the pace. Simple tools, systems, pace. That's it. If people watch you and think I could never do that, they're going to lose duplication, right? Like if you have so much social media influence or a big network, your people are going to be like, well, they're always going to make an excuse that you had something they didn't. But if you're utilizing the system that we have and showing how you're utilizing it, your people will never think that ever again. They're going to think, wow, I can do that too. If they can do that, if they can use like this, so can I. So the challenge for you today is to share one tool with one person today, which is boards. That's it. Share boards with somebody today and make sure that your team is utilizing it. If you have a team chat, I'd be like, I'm doing a poll. Who has boards and uses it? And the people that don't, do a little training on boards, a little micro training for your team. Or take time to sit down with somebody on a phone call and make sure they have it, you know, on there. Invite one person today to our overviews, right? And then, you know, post in your chat or, you know, go out there and just make sure you have some type of communication with your team or with people. So I hope that helps you guys today. That is it for our Empower call today. You can go ahead and join us tomorrow for the next one. Hopefully this helped you guys today. Duplication rules the nation, and Vital Health is absolutely crushing it. So let's keep it up, you guys. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you tonight on our overview.